Hi, I'm Doc Palmer. I'm the author of McGraw-Hill's best-selling reliability book, The Maintenance Planning and Scheduling Handbook. Because the fundamental concepts of planning and scheduling are a bit unusual, most people miss them. But that gives us an opportunity for a competitive edge. We simply want to run planning as a Deming cycle, admitting plans are not perfect and aiming to improve them over the years. And we must fully load schedules to defeat Parkinson's law. We want 100% fully loaded weekly schedules where it's okay to break the schedule. We've talked about that and the reason for that in some earlier editions, but what we would like to do today and the next several sessions is go through the work orders in Appendix D. Appendix D of the 4th edition of the handbook has a number of example work orders. They give a example good work request, an example good first starting job plan, and an example of good feedback. So we'll do that. We'll go to Appendix D. It's figure D15, which just coincidentally is work order number 15. And I'm going to share that on my screen and we'll talk about this. We'll share this window here. First of all, we would like for at least, especially 3 things in a work request. We would like the asset number, attention to priority, and the symptoms of the problem. So this is Unit 2 polisher tank. It's a condensate polisher. It's tank A, and a lot of things have common names, official names, slang names. A boiler feed pump could be a BFP or a feed pump or a boiler feed pump. People could call this the polisher tank, condensate polisher tank, or other names, but it's NIN02 CP-010. We especially want that. We're going to tie all of our job plans and work orders and histories to that tag number. So we got the tag number. And then the problem stated is the underdrain has high differential, and they're suggesting we need to clean it. We don't want just the suggested solution, although we welcome that. A lot of these operators have been out there for years and years, and they pretty know what we're going to do for a particular symptom. But we want the system, and it says it has a high differential. That means the beads have probably broken down over the years, which do the ion transfer, and they tend to clog up the strainer. So we would presume that's happened, but the obvious symptom, it's got a high differential between the 2 pressure gauges. The priority is R2. That doesn't mean it's reactive. It means it's reliability related. It's not safety, environmental, heat rate, or other. It's reliability related. And it's a 2. Definitely like that priority. It's not a 0 emergency or 1 urgent. 2 can wait till next week. 3, anytime this month would be fine. And at this plant, a 4 would be something we don't want to forget about it, but it doesn't necessarily need to be done this month. So R2, it can wait till next week. We've got the tag number, we've got the symptom, and we've got a good priority. And we especially like the priority since it doesn't have to be done this week. It's not a reactive work order. On the plan, it's for B crew. The planner directs it to the right. Mechanical crew. Obtain confined space permit, vacuum out the old resin, blow out the drain screen. And they've got an attached blank permit form because on the work order request, it's got checked off that it's confined space. What the mechanics are going to do is they're going to go into the vessel and with a vacuum hose and vacuum out the old drain, the old polisher resin. They've got 1 tech, which is like a junior mechanic. It's not just a helper. We want somebody with a little more skill for 2 days, 20 hours, and another tech for 20 hours. That would be the confined space lookout. So it's actually a 40-hour job, the total labor. Parts, no parts expected, 6-foot step ladder to go in, a 10-gallon shop vac, and a 25-foot air hose with a regulator. That would be for the confined space person. Notice that for the hours, we don't put for the individual steps. It's a 2-day job, but the whole job is, I like to say, plus or minus 100% for individual jobs, although they average out over the long run. We just have, for most maintenance jobs, just a stab at the hour. This is a guess, reasonable estimate that a planner can make. So we'd call that a decent job plan. Now, notice that they don't say what should be done with the resin. Well, what should be done with the resin? Do they clean it, put it back, or do they get new resin? How come that's not listed as one of the parts? Well, at this plant, the operators deal with the resin. So, and everybody knows that. But the objective of a job plan, and this one's okay, for the future, we're always eventually want to get it where a new person could do it, although we might not have the time on every job. We certainly won't have the time on every job. We plan to start off with that level of detail. So this plant, that's okay for that. Eventually, I'd like to see that a step that the operators take care of inspecting the resin and replacing it, or putting it back in, take care of that. The feedback, we don't want just done. We want what happened. Well, they cleaned the underdrain. That was the screen. And this is the wonderful feedback looking for continuous improvement. They used a 2-foot extension on the shop vac, and they did not need to enter the polisher. So apparently just the extra little 2-foot on the extension meant that they could actually reach in most, I would say, all of the condensate polisher tank and vacuum out the resin. So they did not have to enter it. That saved getting the permits signed and everything. That saved an extra person on the job. So the person was actually able to do it in 13 hours. So it'd be a day plus a little bit of the next day. So in the future, we'll always be able to save that time. So that's the wonderful feedback we're looking at. So not to make too much of a deal out of that. Just generally what you'd like in a work request, a good first job plan, and just wonderful feedback. An example of that. So I'll stop sharing my screen here and I'll go back to myself. So that's what we wanted, a sample job plan. Thanks for letting me be part of your maintenance family for that little example. We'll look at some more in future times. And also on my website, palmerplanning.com, you can see some examples of presentations and conferences I've spoken at, and also public workshops that I've got scheduled. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the future.